Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way," which means that obstacles aren't just roadblocks, they are the part of the path. When you push through difficulty, you're not detouring, you're doing the work. And I think that perfectly describes the mindset that every TEF candidate needs. Because the truth is, learning French isn't easy. You'll face confusion, frustration, and moments where you question if it's even possible. But people who push through those moments, they are the ones who actually change their lives. And today I want to share the story of one such person, Dwarkesh, who just achieved something incredible. Dwarkesh cleared his TEF Canada exam with CLB 7556 points, and what's even more inspiring is his timeline. He joined Frenchify on 16th June, and exactly 3 months later, on September 16th, he cleared his exam. Here are the results. So same date, 3 months apart, from A2 level all the way to B1 level and beyond, which now opens a direct pathway for him to work and settle in Canada through Francophone stream if needed. So in today's video, we are going to dive into his journey, how he managed his studies while working full-time and being a family man, what strategies helped him improve fastest, and what advice he has for others preparing for TEF Canada. So let's get started. Welcome to this channel, Dwarkesh, and thank you so much for joining. Because you just cleared the TEF exam with the CLB5 and like a lot more than CLB5 score as well. Because in reading you got CLB7, in listening CLB5, in writing CLB5, and in speaking CLB6. All right. This discussion will be very valuable for those students who are still in the journey of learning French, specifically for attaining CLB5 as well for Francophone program, or if their goal is for CLB7 as well overall. You can start with your introduction, and then we will dive in detail into a discussion. So yes, Dwarkesh.
Thank you very much, Vyom, for inviting me to this video. My name is Dwarkesh and I'm 36 years old. So I started preparing for French. As everyone knows that there are very few options for the person at my age, and especially with the person who has the family. So I thought that this is the only option. And yes, I started my French journey. So earlier I studied alone, then I had a personal tutor, and then after, like, I took too long time, and when everything was not in control, then I found that okay, now I need somebody like Vyom who
Mhm.
can guide me in the French journey. And then I connected with you. Yes, after connecting with you, I can achieve this CLB5 scores.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Dwarkesh. Thank you for trusting Frenchify. Talk about that beginning phase when you were learning French right from the beginning up to the time you joined Frenchify. How was that beginning phase? I know you mentioned that it was difficult because it was getting difficult to manage things, but like what resources did you use? What were the learnings, or like what experience did you had learning the language? Okay, that this was the mistake I was making. This is something I should not have done, and stuff like that.
So the important thing, uh, I always say this to each and every people who ask me about French. Your journey starts with the greetings, and then you move ahead to small sentences like "Como talez-vous" and etc. And then you try to learn basic vocabulary, the numbers, months, days, time, and everything. Till here, you can do it yourself. No
Yeah.
problem. You'll be very confident, very motivated, and everything. Then comes être, avoir, and aller.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, oh my God, what's going on? And
Yeah.
then, okay, but you're still okay with it. Okay, I can do it. I can do it. And then when you move forward, things come up which are completely beyond your control and beyond the level of understanding. Now, that is the point when you need somebody.
Mm.
So, yes, at that point, I started learning with private tutor. But the main mistake which I made, the very important one, I never practiced listening. I always used to read stuff,
Okay.
never practice speaking. So I always used to read, read, read. That's it. I started comprehending reading the written French, but that's not enough because listening in itself is completely different job.
Mm.
And then speaking French is a completely different job because you can listen well, you can read well. But then when it comes to speaking, it is possible that you cannot at all. So the important mistake which I made was not listening and not speaking.
Correct.
So then when I was not able to do these things at all, I had to connect with you, and then I get to know that I got to know how to do that.
Yeah, I remember discussing about that in like one of our sessions as well. But also, you did a lot of speaking practice afterwards as well. Once you started with our A2 and later B1 program with like one-on-one instructors. So how was that training different than the coaching that you took earlier?
So when I joined Frenchify at A2, the most important thing was there were certain things which I did not understand in French, and I just used to ignore it. For example, pronominal verbs.
Mm-hmm.
So I never knew how to use them. I never used them at all while writing or while speaking. Speaking I didn't used to do, but still I didn't use them. But when I saw your videos for pronominal verbs especially, so you started teaching pronominal verbs in the video, and then you started bombarding pronominal verbs with the examples.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you, there are so many examples. Like if even if you just remember all your examples, you'll be having a very good knowledge of pronominal verbs.
Yeah.
After that, then I started practicing those pronominal verbs in speaking. So as you suggested, that preparing monologues is very important. So I prepared the whole schedule of myself, and then I wrote 5 sentences. I crammed those 5 sentences, and then I started speaking those 5 sentences.
Mm.
I sent you video. You said no, flow is not good. I I had to do it again. When I did again, I sent it to you. No, still you need to improve, and then so on and so forth. So the thing is, first of all, you need to just mug up the things, very, very simple things, and then try to speak them, because that's the way to teach your tongue how to speak French. Uh,
That,
just get acquainted to your tongue with your tongue.
yeah.
So after that, I felt that when you demanded too many monologues from me, I guess it was 15, 16 monologues which I sent you. And then after that, you were of different topics, of course. And then after that, you were at least convinced that, okay, now you are doing something which is much better.
Yeah.
And I think that that is the best way to do it, because in speaking, monologues are very important. And I did not do monologues at all. So then after getting confident in monologues, then I started taking one-on-one sessions as well from you.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped a lot, because then we built up the strategy to speak in the test, how to speak, what to speak, how much to deliver, and what to deliver. There are so many things which I learned in one-on-one sessions. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dwarkesh, and thank you for the detailed explanation on that. And talking about, yeah, I want to come back to that point of speaking because, when we say that, okay, we have to memorize speaking monologues, students will be like, oh, memorization, how that works in the language. But it is actually very, very helpful. It's just that in short duration, one would feel like, oh, how can we memorize a language? But then the thing is, the more we memorize those basic phrases and, the basic expressions that we use in the monologues, they start sitting permanently in a mind. In future, you don't have to think when you are formulating, like, let's say if you want to explain an idea, your brain doesn't have to think, okay, I would like to, I voudrais like to aimerais, right? Like the
Yes.
your brain already knows that je voudrais faire, okay, I would like to do this. So that is why it becomes a lot more it's a very good approach to memorize and like at least practice like 15 to 20, like in A2 course there are 30 plus monologues in total now, so that gives a really extensive practice for speaking as well to students. So yeah, that is something that really works. And yeah, let's talk about now your journey from A2 to B1 and then giving the exam. So I do have some dates I would like to discuss. You began with A2 program on 16th June and then with B1 on 20th August. So June, July, August took about exact 2 months. Okay.
2 months.
Was that
Yes.
learning? How was that learning at A2? What used to be your I would say training routine or like study routine? Plus also what were the things that you focused on more? And what were the things which you kind of like, you said that, okay, like right now it's not that important. I'll focus on that later. How was that?
I learned hard way that this language needs time. And so I have to give time. So I started going to library and learn the language for 3 hours a day, compulsorily from Monday to Saturday. So on Sunday, I do not touch French at all. So that's the thing. And but 3 hours religiously, I used to practice French. Uh, A2, there are too many videos to watch and too many things to learn. Even if I had learned everything, according to me, I had learned everything up
Mm-hmm.
to B2, but
Mm-hmm.
then that wasn't enough. So I had to redo your A2 course, and then I learned too many new things, like as I said about pronominal verbs.
Yeah.
So there are too many things in depth as well, which we feel that we know, but we actually do not know. And
Correct.
then with the help of those videos, it's very much comprehensible.
Perfect.
Also, also the most important thing is your A2 module has all the four components. Like you practice listening, speaking, writing, reading, everything.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing one can do, because I never used to do this thing, speaking and listening practice. But your four modules enabled me to practice everything, and that's the best thing, because when you practice everything, that is how you proceed to learn a language. Learning one particular aspect won't help.
True.
So there are too many things in the course which taught me how to proceed, and then I get along with everything, all the four things, all the four modules, and then I proceeded to uh, B2 after 2 months, because I had to convince you a lot by sending monologues and the stuff.
Yeah.
So writing I did not touch, because that wasn't my short-term goal. So listening wise, I started with Easy French and Inner French podcasts. So Inner French podcasts were very useful for me, because I used to they are all a bit long, but then I used to listen them repeatedly, and it helped me a lot. So that way I improved my listening and speaking, and then uh, I got along I successfully entered B2 as well.
I think B1. B1. Just to correct on that.
B1, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just to talk about that level as well. Yeah, you started B1 on 20th August and August and then September. Just like within 1 month, you got comfortable with the exam pattern as well. I think you've already gotten a bit comfortable because you've given the attempt before. Yeah, this time, what changed in terms of your learning methodology and also in terms of approach towards the exam? What was different? Were you feeling more comfortable? For you, the goal was Francophone mobility program, hence you required NCLC 5 in listening and speaking, right? Yeah, so going into this attempt, so even though our exam specific preparation starts at B2, but you did some one-on-one sessions and you got comfortable in the exam and you just gave the exam in B1. What was different and how did you feel during the attempt?
So the most important thing is there is a way to attempt this TEF Canada stuff. Because I had a conversation with a person who was involved in conducting this exam,
Mhm.
and the person said that even the native French people, when they attend the test, when they give the test, even they are not very confident after coming out of the examination hall, because they say that this was tough, this was confusing, the options were saying this, that. Now I thought that why it is so difficult for native people as well, because what I think is it is difficult because they do not have strategy. They think that they know the language, so that is the best thing they have, but the examination requires a strategy. And I guess I got benefited with you guys in one-on-one sessions with designing that strategy, how to perform in the exam, what
Correct.
to listen, what to speak. So there are some, fixed formats which we have to speak while
Mm.
speaking, because the test is designed in such a manner. So those formats, corrected formats, because when you know that you have to do this in examination, then you have to like do it perfectly.
Yeah.
So one-on-one sessions taught me that how to frame those sentences in a correct manner. And because I used to speak those sentences, but they were grammatically incorrect.
Yeah.
So I learned that, okay, this has to be spoken this way, this has to be spoken this way, and so on and so forth. So that corrected my obvious mistakes. And on the other hand, it added to my points. Like
Yeah.
when we speak something, we speak it correctly, it always gives us good points. So it added to my points, and then I was able to achieve NCLC 6 in speaking. Speaking about the other things which I understood, I used to only focus on the practice tests which are available online. But then you told me that no, it is not enough to focus only on practice tests. You should always understand the language itself. So
Hmm.
then you told me to practice those RFI, TV5, TV Sankmon, and all those stuff. So then I started listening to them, and then it got me uh, well along how to listen to the language, and then how to perform, how to grasp the gist of the whole paragraph which is spoken, and all those stuff. So yes, that was quite useful.
Perfect. Yes, because actually for listening and reading, I feel that we sometimes distract ourselves a little bit too much into mock tests than it is needed to. Like, honestly, when it comes to the volume consumption and the language consumption for reading and listening, it's like 90% your generic reading listening practice that you do, and 10 to 15% mock test practice. That's in terms of the time investment, or also like the priority investment as well, I would say. Let's say if you have given 20 hours into your listening, out of those 20 hours, 18 hours should be the hours which you are giving into understanding the generic language, and then rest 2 hours is just like for mock practices, that also just to get familiar with the exam, right? So yeah, that approach really changes the way we look at the exam. Is that okay? It's not like in order to prepare for the exam, we cannot just like keep on doing the mock tests, because we just need to first work on this base of the grammar. Like same thing sorry, not base of grammar, base of listening. Same thing happens in English. Like, when the reason these days we are able to give IELTS or CELPIP exams very quick is because we already know enough English and
No,
we can listen to it very well. That's why we can just do mock practices and give the IELTS or CELPIP exam. But that same thing cannot apply in French. But because in French, we first need to build the base first, and then doing more mock tests helps. Why? Because now we get acquainted with the exam pattern. Also, we can understand what types of audios can come in, what types of questions can come in, what are the nuances between the options that I have to understand. So those are also, yeah, something becomes very, very useful. Yes, Dwarkesh. So I do have a couple of more, a little bit more personal questions as well for you, but they'll be useful to get a perspective, your perspective as well, because students can kind of, like foresee for themselves. So first would be, because you're a family man, I would like to ask you that how did your family supported you when you were on this French grind?
okay. So I had a lot of support from my family, and they told me, like especially my wife, that you just focus on French. So she used to do remaining things, like I focused on French for 3 hours in the morning time, and then in the afternoon I had to go for job. So afternoon to evening, like I went for job.
Hmm.
But rest of the things, I'm lucky that I need not to touch them. Like we stay in a joint family in Canada as well.
Hmm.
I stay with my brother, and everyone is so supportive. Like even my brother's wife, nobody ever told me to do a single stuff. In a way, I'm lucky in that manner. However, uh, for the students, especially who live on their own, I just want to tell them that uh, you have to have 2 hours of time for French if you want to go to the journey in French, because 2 to 3 hours time is very important if you want to complete in time.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it will take forever. Like 1 hour a day is not enough. You have to go for 2 hours or 3 hours a day, and you have to work it out how you can manage. So I understand it's very difficult with job, and you also have to do the domestic chores as well. But uh, I was lucky in that stuff. But you have to just work it out how you can get time along with all those things.
True. And actually, there are a lot of people who are watching this video who either they are working, let's say around 40 hours, but they're doing other things as well, or they are
Yes,
working 60 hours, but they're not able to do other things. For both of these scenarios, it's not possible to, study French on regular basis, because if you're if you're like working 40 hours, but then doing other things as well, you might just have to cut other things and just like focus on
yes,
French, then you should be fine. But if you're working 60 hours already, you might just have to reduce your working hours. Like money can come in later, you can earn more later, but like what's the benefit of doing that work if the PR is not there yet, or if we are not really
Yes.
doing something towards the PR, right? So that's also
Yes.
a very liberating, I would say. Firstly, you have to like change this mentality towards work and learning a language, and then later it becomes very liberating. So yeah, great. And yes, once you shared your result, you got CLB5 in speaking and listening. Now you are eligible for Francophone mobility. Now they know this as well. How was the reaction? Yeah, did you like celebrate or something?
So everyone was very happy when I disclosed that now I have achieved what I wanted, like the short-term goal, the first goal.
Yeah.
So everyone was very happy. Everyone congratulated, and then it was my birthday as well.
Oh,
So we had a bit of celebration, and things were very good. But everyone also warned me that this is not it, and you are not supposed to stop your learning process. 3 hours a day is still on, and still you are not going to do anything else but French. So, yes, even after that, I took a break of 3 days, and then I'm back to 3 hours a day study schedule.
perfect, perfect. And like that's the thing about this is that once you give your first attempt and you get good score, you are able to see that okay, this is a reality. Okay, like it's not like I'm just thinking in my head. This is actually a reality. I just need to work a little bit more, and it actually motivates you even further. I think that might have happened with you as well, right? Yes, Dwarkesh. Just wanted to discuss about one more thing, right? Because you are in Canada as well. You are also aware about the situation of other students or like other people, those who are on work permit right now, or those who have just landed on work permit. Because like some people think that okay, right now the work permit just came. I'll first for like work and like slowly and steadily I'll start my French later and stuff like that. So what will be your advice in this situation?
Even I have friends who just received their work permit recently, like couple of months ago and all. So they have a sweet 36 months of time. Now the thing is that many of them are just graduated up to 12 and then they landed here in Canada. So basically they don't have the benefit of 1 year of experience in India. So for them, right now, I guess it's a bit difficult job for acquiring that CRS score as it's going too high. So I just wanted to say that, see, if you think even 10 percentage, if you think that there are chances that you may require to learn French, then guys, I guess you should start it today itself
Mhm.
because the process itself is a bit longer when you don't have, a very near about deadlines. So, like if you have a deadline of say 12 months, you can perform better. But when you have so long deadlines, there are chances to skip those deadlines, and there are chances to skip a good chunk of time, which is in your hand right now. So, what you can do is you can just start learning French right now. You can also start learning by your own, and then when you face difficulties, just you can connect to the platforms. So the thing is, if you think that I'll start tomorrow, I'll start after 2 months, I'll start after 4 months, the time will go away and you won't even know that how the days pass and how the months pass and how the years pass. So the thing is that if you feel even 10 percentage that you may require to learn French, start right now. That's the only thing I wanted to tell them.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now, the thing, yeah, the earlier they start, the less pressure, they have, right? Because
Yes.
if we talk about your learning plan as well, it was a bit more, like there was a bit pressure. Why? Because you had to focus
Pressure.
on Francophone mobility. But see, one thing I really, that I really appreciate in your scenario is that you like took that pressure in a great way, like in terms of language learning. If we see, I like I want to say that I feel that you kind of learned it the same way that I did, but even better, like because like for me, I was disciplined, I was learning on regular basis, but I didn't have a lot of pressure because like my work permit was like it was about 6 months in my work permit when I started learning French. So I was like, okay, we'll do it, but I kept on being regular. Still I learned it in 12 months, right? In your situation, it was like you had that pressure. So that kept you more disciplined, but you also have other responsibilities. You have work, you have family, you have to manage all those aspects as well. So that is something which is really commendable. And like, I'm very proud to bring you and, connect, like have a conversation with you as well, because I think, yeah, that's something that others should learn, that not being able to give time or doing it later, those are excuses. Right, we kind
Yes.
of have to start as soon as we can. If you are serious, then you'll be starting it. Okay, but if you're not serious, you're
Yes.
going to just delay it. You can say to yourself that, okay, I'll have time later, I'll have time, but no, you won't. So it's always
Won't
better
be.
to start earlier than later.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, perfect. And yes, Dwarkesh, would you have any advice, like generic advice? Now, this is for beginners as well, intermediates as well. You can like give them individual, you can categorize it on individual basis as well, like advice for beginner, advice for intermediates, but you can give it all advice as well to the students, those who are learning French on like, generic as advice. If they're learning French, what are the things that they should keep in mind always for them to achieve?
So the most important thing which I lagged behind at, that was speaking. It was really a difficult job for me because to train your tongue to speak a completely different language like French is a difficult job. So just don't read and listen, but please, please, please speak as well. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to speaking, uh, instead of waiting for somebody to accompany you for speaking, just take this path which I took in the very later phase of my French learning, that is monologues. Prepare monologues, start from 5 sentences, prepare them, record them, re-record them, and just get them perfectly spoken. So that's the one thing which I did at a very later stage of my French journey. So I want to tell others that please start it from the first day. Speak, speak, speak as much as you can. Just try to speak as much as you can. That's it.
And all the best, Dwarkesh, for CLB7. I know we are preparing for that. Hope we clear that soon.
Thank you so much, Vyom. And if I am with you, I am very much confident that we can achieve it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I hope Dwarkesh's journey inspired you, because stories like this remind us that discipline beats doubt every single time. If you stay consistent, you will conquer French. And if you're a complete beginner, you can start your own journey today with Frenchify's beginner programs. Use the discount code Frenchify50 and you can get $50 off when you sign up. Start now, because in a few months from today, you could be the next success story we feature here. Oh wow.